Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amy and I'm currently on a journey to repay 6 figures worth of student loan debt. Today I wanted to do a 2-year debt-free journey recap. If you are new to my channel, we restarted our debt-free journey as of January 2020, January 1st, 2020 to be exact. And so we are almost officially 2 years on our restarted journey. So I figured I would just give a recap of the last 2 years, exactly what we've paid off, how much interest we've paid, and just kind of chat through all the happenings of the last 2 years. So let's go ahead and get started. So first, I'm going to just give a recap of how we started in January of 2020. So when we restarted our journey, we had both private and federal student loans. So my private student loan balance as of January 1st, 2020 was $28,984, and my federal balance was $91,204, which was a grand total of $120,189. So that is where we started January 1st, 2020. I remember when I was setting my goals for 2020, this was kind of pre-debt-free journey restart a little bit. It was back in like December of 2019, and I was just thinking through like, what goals do we want to accomplish in the year of 2020? And I set a goal to pay $5,000 of principal towards my private student loan. So I remember that very vividly because I was like, okay, I feel like we can pay more towards debt, but, I was skeptical and I was nervous and I had been avoiding my student loans for so long. And so that felt like a reasonable goal to me. Well, then I reread the Total Money Makeover, which I talked about in my most recent video that was talking about Dave Ramsey. I will link it in the corner. I filmed it a few weeks ago. But it was just talking about rereading and reading that book a few times before it really stuck. I reread it in January of 2020 and I was like, you know what? We can do this. We can get rid of this debt. And it really just reignited the flame in me to become debt free. We had started and restarted journeys probably back since 2016, 2017, and pretty much always failed because we gave up. When we got to my student loans, it just felt too overwhelming. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate, especially if you have a 6-figure balance. And since I'm sure you guys are probably wondering as well, where is my $132,404 that I talk about, which is our official starting balance. So that was the highest balance of my private and my federal student loans put together. So that was when I had originally started to repay those back in, I think it was 2016 that I started repayment on my loans. So that was the balance then. So obviously we had paid down a little bit of the balance by January 2020 by making basically just the regular payments. I was never on income-based repayment, so every single month that I did pay my student loans, I was making a little bit of progress. However, I was definitely paying a ton of interest. If you followed me on Instagram for a while, you've probably heard me talk about the fact that at one point during our journey when we first had restarted paying our loans, we were paying more than $20 a day in interest alone. So we were making very, very, very slow progress. Obviously, 132, we had only paid off $12,000 in about 3 to 4 years of paying the student loans. So not a lot of progress was being made. So on January 1st of 2020, we decided to make that a priority. I started with a very low goal of just paying an additional $5,000 of principal, and we crushed that goal. Obviously, with the pandemic and the interest relief on my federal student loans, that was a huge help as well. So let's flash forward to January of 2021. And if you've been on my channel for a while, you probably have heard a lot of these numbers, especially for the 2021, because I had started to share my journey on YouTube at this point. So as of January 1st, 2021, we had $0 in private student loans, and our federal were down to $64,700. So that is where we started. 2021, we started at $64,700. So we had obviously paid a significant amount of money in 2020. So paid in 2020, we paid $55,489 of principal in 2020. And then in 2021, we paid, to date, as I'm filming this, $63,500. So If you watched my Debt-Free Friday video from last week, we are down to just about $1,200 left on our student loans. I posted a video on Monday talking about next steps and what we're going to do. So go check that video out as well if you have not watched that yet. But basically, we are like almost debt-free. Might happen in 2021, might not. Might happen in January of 2022, but we will see. So this is the total amount that we have paid off on this 2-year journey. And let's talk a little bit about interest too, because like I said, this is principal amounts. So this is not including the interest that we did pay. So in January of 2020, obviously we were paying interest on both of these. And then I shifted focus first to this private student loan, especially because of the pandemic freeze that came in March of 2020. So I continued to, I actually did continue to pay my federal student loans this entire time. I never took a month off of paying my student loans, even though I didn't technically need to be paying on my federal. I still wanted to see progress every single month, so I maintained my minimum payment that I had on my private student loan, on my federal student loan, while I paid off my private student loan. So let's talk a little bit about interest. So 2021 interest was zero because we paid off my private student loan in 2020. We had zero interest accrue in 2021. So this is just talking about my student loans. Also, I want to mention that because we obviously did pay interest on our mortgage. That is the only other debt that we have right now is our mortgage. So we did pay interest on our mortgage. I'm not considering that in this just because we're not actively paying our mortgage off right now. So that's not a huge priority for us. So 2020 interest. And again, we did have that pandemic freeze for part of the year, and then we did have my private student loans that never had a freeze on them until I, obviously paid them off and then interest stopped accruing. So $797 was what my private student loans accrued. I paid my private student loans off in August of 2020, so that was 8 months of accrual, and that was with me paying rapidly. So I think I paid the $5,000 principal that I had the goal for in like the first 3 months. We really just hit it hard. And then during the beginning of the pandemic, March, April, and like May timeframe, we did not make extra payments on our debt. We basically just paid the minimums for both of them, and then we threw everything into savings. Then in June, July, and August, we decided to drain that savings back down a little bit to be able to pay off my private student loans faster. So that's just a little bit of background on that. So we did pay $797 in interest on my private student loans in 2020. And then we did also pay $1,025 on my federal. So you can just see how much was accruing on those loans because that was only for January, February, and part of March. So that was less than 3 months of interest. So we paid $1,000. We were paying close to $400 a month in interest at that point. And then I figured I'd also pull 2019. I can't really go back farther than this because I don't have like the access in my private I don't have like the history access in my private student loans anymore for some reason, so I would have to call to get like 2018, 2017, and 2016, but I probably won't do that just because honestly, it just, meh. I don't know that I want to know. So we paid in 2019 on both my private and federal student loans. The balance was higher than this. I don't know exactly what it was as of like January 2019, but it was, probably like $125,000. So in the year 2019, we paid a whopping $10,173 in interest. So yeah, very thankful for the student loan freeze because that obviously helped us to accelerate our journey. And honestly, that was a huge motivator for me. As soon as we found out in March of 2020 that we were going to be having this break on the interest, I was like, all right, this is the time that we can set ourselves up and change our lives right now. Like we need to act fast. And my husband was a little bit skeptical because he was like, what are you talking about? Like, this is crazy, sending thousands of dollars a month to our debt. Like this is something we've never done before and all of that. But as soon as I explained it to him, like we have this opportunity, this once in a lifetime opportunity of having my debt at 0% interest and being able to completely tackle the principal. And we definitely took advantage of that. And I know a lot of you guys did as well. And I'm just so proud of us that we were able to accomplish all that we've accomplished. Obviously, we are not quite debt free yet, but we are so close. We only have over about $1,000 left. So we will be debt free in, a week or two max. And I'm just so grateful and thankful for this journey. Anyways, that is my 2-year debt-free journey recap. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know, how has your journey been going? If you're on a debt-free journey, I would love to hear about your progress in the year 2020 and 2021, how much you've accomplished this year alone as well. And I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.